Hello, everyone. This is our group and The Need for School Uniforms by Whitney, Hillary, Addison, Aaron, and Avery. When you look good, you feel good, you do good. This is a quote that I think a lot of us have heard over the years, and it's a reminder that the way that we present ourselves has a great impact on the work that we do. So, in the context of school uniforms, imagine that you are a 14, 15-year-old kid. You're looking in your closet. Nothing seems to be working. All the outfits you had in your head are just the worst. They look weird, or your favorite t-shirt is in the wash, and you're stressing about how you're going to fit in and about whether or not people will make fun of you for what you're wearing or for what you're not wearing, or that you're going to get a dress code violation. Well, school uniforms really eliminate all that stress so you can focus on your studies. And here's our first point as to why we feel that school uniforms are a great idea.
All right. We want to start off this first point with a little background information of where school uniforms came from. They started in England in the 15-ish hundreds. They started as a way for schools to have a sense of identity, as well as give students a feeling of equality, regardless of any home income. Everyone's dressed similarly, so no one knows what's happening outside of school. School uniforms do allow students to look professional, and there's no pressure to feel any sort of way based on any styles anyone's wearing. School uniforms have shown to both improve grades, and it also reduces tardies and absences. There was a study shown, it was about 70% of school principals did believe that uniforms help reduce any disciplinary problems at school as well. Wearing school uniforms has shown to help kids listen better and to help them be more disciplined. The style of clothing helps kids to feel equal, to feel involved. School uniforms help students to improve in any performances, as well as help them focus in learning instead of being focused on any fashion or outside distractions. The school uniforms do give a more professional feeling, which I think helps students to not get distracted. It helps them to feel more put together and like professional in their schooling, which I think helps them to focus more in class. And yeah, so I think this also ties into bullying, which we will talk about later. Helps them to like want to go to school more with less bullies. Oftentimes kids do get bullied for the way they look or what they wear. So I think uniforms help everyone to feel unified, help the school attendance to go up since there's less bullying, less mental stress on them. So
the second reason that school uniforms are important is because it benefits low-income families and students. Over half of Americans thought that school uniforms had a positive effect in terms of saving parents money, and the parents themselves also tended to agree. This helps low-income parents and students by limiting the amount of money spent on other clothing items. Students always feel pressured to wear the most trendy clothing, and parents want to give their child that mostly, but low-income families don't have the money or the means to do that. And so school uniform limits that. One student said, "I definitely think that seeing designer clothing at school would make students who do not have the means to buy the same thing uncomfortable. It makes the student feel left out because they cannot keep up with the trends." There are a variety of organizations that can help low-income students get uniforms for free. A couple places are local churches or communities, teachers, the Kids in Need Foundation, Salvation Army, and United Way, to name a few. Schools can also offer secondhand uniform options where free uniforms are not available. Everyone dresses the same, which limits kids from viewing others as better than other people based on their clothing or social status, which is super important. And more students have started having school uniforms since 1996, when the President Bill Clinton said that school uniforms would give students the opportunity to evaluate themselves by what they are inside instead of what they're wearing on the outside.
And so the third reason why I believe that school uniforms are important is because it brings a sense of unity to the school and to the students. And so when all students are dressed alike, the competition between students over clothing choices and the teasing of those who are dressed in less expensive or less fashionable outfits, that can just be eliminated. And there's actually a local school here, I believe in American Fork, called American Heritage, that has a video of why they choose to wear uniforms. And I'd like to play that real quick.
I love basketball. The friendships I've made and the life lessons this game has taught me are priceless. And because I love basketball, I respect it. I follow its rules, including the rules about uniforms. If I don't, I'm not allowed to play in the game. So let's give a crazy example. What if I didn't like my team's uniform and wanted to wear something else, like a suit? I mean, look at that. I look sharp. A suit is an upgrade, right? And suits are wonderful in the right time and the right place. But what would that decision to wear a suit instead of my basketball uniform say about me? It would say that I believe in me before we. It would show a lot of disrespect for my teammates because those uniforms are a symbol. They tell everyone that that person wearing the uniform has earned a spot on the team. They've made and kept promises and sacrificed for each other. That jersey identifies me. It says, I'm a patriot. I stand for something. I represent my team and my school. And what I wear on the outside says a lot about me on the inside. So when I choose to put that uniform on, it actually makes me better. The uniform focuses my mind. Once that uniform is on, it's time to forget about outside distractions and focus 100% on what we've learned, the techniques, the plays, and what I can do to help my team win. A unified team is so powerful. I hope you see the connection to our school uniform, because we wear our school uniforms for the same reasons our sports teams wear their uniforms. You've made the team here at American Heritage, and we're so glad you did. The uniform is a sign of our commitments to each other and our values. It shouldn't distract from those things. Because together, as a team, here at American Heritage School, we can lift each other to do more than we ever thought was possible.
Okay, so I like that video because it shows the power that comes from wearing a uniform. And I like how they related it to a sports uniform. So just like you have a team when playing a sport, you can have a team at school as well. And so when students have more of a team mentality rather than a me mentality and focusing on themselves, they gain a lot of power, pride, and respect for themselves, others, and schools. And so rather than competing against each other, they're now rooting for each other so that they can all become the most successful that they can be. And there have actually been a lot of studies about the pros of wearing uniforms, and they all outweigh the cons. And many of them say that when the students wear the uniforms, the level of respect, care, and trust throughout the school has increased, and the sense of feeling important and belonging in the school has increased as well. And the students just feel like they have somewhere to be, they have a team to be on, and they have people who love them. And so I feel like all those things brings a lot of self-confidence, which brings a lot of success to students as well.
Okay. Well, I think my team laid it out pretty clear. There's a lot of benefits to school uniforms, especially for kids who are younger, who are still in high school, who are still figuring things out. Just a couple that my team mentioned. I just want to recap here as we finish up. School uniforms help students look more professional and have a more serious mentality about school. I don't know if you can think back to when you were in high school, but I'm sure you can remember what people were wearing if you went to one without a dress code or uniforms, and it was kind of a blender. You had a lot of everything. And in the workplace that school is preparing kids to go into, in the real world, People expect others to be dressed up professionally and to be serious about what they're doing, and the way you dress is a first impression. Secondly, we talked about how school uniforms have a couple of benefits for low-income students. A lot of times, these low-income students' parents and themselves don't have the means to afford really nice clothing or really professional-looking clothing, and so it can be a struggle. Kids get made fun of. They don't look as good. They don't feel as good. They don't feel like they belong. And so when we are able to have these uniforms at a cost-effective rate, which most are, these students are able to feel just like everybody else. They don't feel like the poor kid or the kid whose parents aren't good enough. Lastly, we talked about how wearing uniforms enhances school pride, unity, attendance, community spirit, and even limits bullying. All these points aren't opinion. They're backed by data and backed by studies that when uniforms are introduced, it's like that quote that Addison read by Bill Clinton. They come to the ball game. They're serious. And so we want to thank you for listening to us and encourage you to consider using school uniforms at your school. We've done the research and have concluded that they're a good thing to have. So just wanted to say thank you.